Songwriting isn't about just coming up with ideas. It's about learning how to listen. In this episode, I share a different kind of ear training for singer-songwriters, one that helps you recognize song beginnings as they're already forming before you try to turn them into something finished. Welcome to Singer-Songwriter, a space to reconnect with your voice, your music, and the songs waiting to be written. I'm Lainey, singer and songwriter, voice and creativity coach. If you've ever dreamed of writing and singing your own songs, but doubt or perfectionism keeps getting in the way, then grab that notebook full of ideas. It's time to open your voice, trust your sound, and express yourself freely. Your songs are waiting. Let's bring them to life. If you've ever said, I don't know how to start a song, I want to share another perspective with you today. Now, most songs don't begin with a plan. You usually don't know how it starts. You don't know how it ends. Maybe there's just a vague inkling of something in the middle. It begins with something quieter, a feeling, a piece of an idea, maybe a line or a sound. And the skill isn't inventing something from scratch. The skill is listening long enough, deeply enough, openly enough to notice what's already there. When we hear ear training, we usually think of intervals, scales, music theory, and these are all relevant and important to the process of songwriting. But it's not where you begin. It's not where the song comes from. There's another kind of ear training that singer-songwriters need just as much. Today we're talking about listening for a song and how that changes the entire songwriting process. Before we dive in, I want to share a little context because this way of listening is something that, for me, developed over time. And it wasn't something that came from my musical studies. I was trained to listen critically for mistakes, for accuracy, for whether something was right or it was being done properly. But that kind of listening made songwriting feel intimidating. And it was a different kind of headspace than what was needed for the creative act of writing a song. What changed everything was learning how to listen creatively, not for correctness, but for that feeling of aliveness, for something that was pulling at me, was asking for my attention. Something subtle that kept returning. That shift of listening creatively, that is at the heart of my one-on-one vocal breakthrough sessions. They're not about perfecting your sound. They're about opening up the treasure that's already there, that's already within you. And rather than manipulating and fixing it, it's about peeling it down to its natural form. These sessions are about learning how to listen to your voice again, not only your singing voice, but also your creative voice. Learn how to trust it and how to let it guide your creative work. So if you're craving support with your voice and your songwriting, and this holistic creative approach is really resonating with your creative spirit, you can learn more about these vocal breakthrough sessions and book your very own at reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. Now let's talk about listening for a song. Songwriting is all about listening. Songs often start quietly. They're just a whisper, or maybe sometimes it's more like an itch. Like there's something that keeps tugging at you and it won't let you go. Something that keeps returning in your mind or ringing in your ear. So if you're waiting for something big, you'll often miss what's real. And it's these little whispers. So to hear those little whispers and recognize them as that spark of a song, that spark of an idea that leads to a song, what you need is a different kind of ear training. Now, traditional ear training or aural skills, these are foundational for musicianship. As you learn the language of music, you're learning how to hear it, how to listen, how to translate what you're hearing. And yes, these skills are all so helpful in the songwriting process. But you don't need all of that in place to write a song. What you need is to listen creatively. This is creative ear training. So rather than listening for external accuracy, you're listening internally. It's like you're flicking a switch to turn on that internal awareness. So what are you listening for? If this is a different kind of ear training, we're listening deeply. What is it we're listening for? Now, this can be as you go throughout your day. This can be as you're journaling in your notebook. This can be as you're, tinkering around at the piano or the guitar, or as you're doing vocal improv. But typically, it's something that just comes through maybe in all of those situations or contexts, or what's the word I'm looking for? Scenarios, settings. It's something that keeps coming back, and it can come in different forms or all of the forms. But here's what you're listening for. You're listening for something with an emotional charge. Like something sparks this electric reaction in your body, in your heart, makes you feel something. You're listening for repetition, something that comes back again and again, in different ways maybe, but the same theme. You're listening for something that carries energy. You're listening for something that sparks curiosity. You're listening for what has life. That's the spark of a song. What you're actually listening for is a phrase that keeps returning, a sound you don't know what to do with yet. Maybe it's a feeling that keeps showing up, keeps bubbling to the surface, and you don't have a place for it to go. Like you don't know what to do with this feeling. It's just bubbling up in you, and it needs a place to go. That is the beauty of songwriting. It gives our feelings and our emotions a place to go so they don't get stuck in our body and cause a heaviness, like a cloud hanging over our life, because we can't find a way to express this energetic, alive, emotionally charged idea or experience. We need to give it a place to go. But first we must pay attention to it. Give it our attention. Listen to what it has to say. Listen to what it wants to share. If something keeps coming back, it's asking to be heard, and it's asking to be given a voice. And it's asking for your voice because it came to you. This kind of listening changes everything for songwriters because there's less pressure about, starting the right way or having a certain structure in place or a start to finish roadmap. It's a more creative way to approach the songwriting process. There's less comparison. You're able to trust your instincts because you're developing your ear. You're training your ear to hear these whispers, to pick them out, to recognize them when they arrive. And as you begin to see that and hear it, your songs unfold instead of being forced. So you're listening before you start shaping the song. You're paying attention to what's asking for your attention before getting all caught up in the technique, in the song structure, in the music theory, the chord progressions, all the technical stuff. You can take a deep breath and let all of that fall away. Because what you're doing here is developing trust in your voice, in your inner voice, to listen for the song, and trusting that your singing voice, your instrument, will guide you deeper into that idea. So, how can you practice this? First, I want you to notice what keeps repeating and write it down without overthinking it or judging it before it's even taken shape. Hum it, speak it, sit with it, whether it's a word, a phrase, a melody, just a feeling. It's nothing that you have to turn into a song yet. Listening is already songwriting. That is how it begins. So the question isn't, how do I start a song? The question is, what's already asking for my attention? And just listen. If you want help with this kind of ear training, this creative ear training, and you'd like some guidance with developing your ear in this way, not only your musical ear, but your inner ear, listening to your inner voice as it guides you into the song through your physical instrument, your singing voice. Join me in one of my vocal breakthrough sessions. I would love to walk you through this process and help you hear what's already there. Go to reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching to learn more and book your session. That's reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. Until next week, keep your ears open, your heart open, and just listen for what feels alive in you and what's asking for a channel of expression through you, your creativity, and your voice. Thanks for listening, friend. If this episode moved you or inspired you in some way, would you please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or share this episode with someone who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough? Until next time, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.